nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. I think there's something in the water. If you wanna take a sip, but be careful what you wish for. The faint of heart can't handle it. Everybody wants a piece of someone else's prize, but it ain't free, it don't come cheap. Only the strongest will survive. You ain't seen nobody like this.
Good evening, and thank you for joining SA Soccer Roundtable. Joining me tonight, as usual, Rafa. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. It's a Monday. Tax day is officially over, so
Not
people
this year.
calling at 2:55. Hey, can I still make my contribution? You can. So I do his, and then hey, can I do my wife's? I was like, no, it's after 3:00. Market's closed, man. You can do a check, but it'll be postmarked. But
I thought taxes weren't due till the 15th. I guess that was last year.
June?
The 15th of June. Sorry.
Yeah.
no,
I guess
May
it's
17th.
I think
Obviously, I
they
did mine in.
Well,
I did
in
mine
Texas, it's a little
February,
bit
so-
different because of the
snow.
storm. So I think Texas is June something.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So you're
But
talking about, okay.
for the rest of the great country, not so much. And the other cohorts is Royce here. How are you doing?
I'm here, man. It's Monday, and it's Monday after a loss, so it sucks. It's been like double bad, so and then triple bad because it was the RGVFC. So just
Well,
it can only get better. It can only can only go up from here. So
hopefully my production of this is better than ESPN Plus and Vista's production.
not wrong, because apparently PC had a shot in that game when he was injured and on the bench, not even on the bench, injured and not even there. Dude.
In
they're
both
coming
halves,
out.
they made
Yeah,
that mistake.
They're both coming out in a 4-3-3. What are you looking at? That was bad, man. That was bad on
The color guy was horrible.
I really wanted to send a tweet to ESPN and to USL and be like,
But those
you guys
are
need someone to do
local RGV announcers. That isn't the main. That isn't the main group out of Florida. That was a local production down in by RGV.
if that is a metaphor, because that is a very RGV production crew, because that was just so bad and inaccurate. Good
Some
Lord.
of those YouTube sports channels that the high schools do here in San Antonio, and commentators are way a lot better than the ones from
No kidding. That was,
night.
I mean, it was so bad. It was just like,
So
It
I was
reminded me of another
man.
show that we won't name here, and listening to them, and just how they make up stuff and just run with it.
Are we talking about Larry Leathers and Kyle Mankey? Those guys were terrible.
Going all the way back to the pitch black days.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Going all the way
exactly.
back to Aaron and Kyle.
Those SeaWorld kids, just bad.
Shout out to you guys, man.
We miss
Hopefully you're
y'all.
all doing well, and
For
Kyle,
real.
hopefully you get that acceptance very soon here on the job.
For real.
But we also have Kaylor, who's going to be coming on probably about a half hour from now, coming on to talk about this week with Birmingham Legion coming to town. For people not knowing, they are a Eastern Conference team, and he does the Hammering Down podcast, which you can check on YouTube channel or your local podcast of choice.
And as a side note, it's pronounced Birmingham. Birmingham.
Okay.
There's no cork there. Birmingham.
Okay. I'll just go Legion FC. Keep myself out of trouble.
Smart. For
For that here. So, but to kick off, I was lucky enough to be able to go see the Athenians kick off against FC Austin Elite this last Saturday because SAFC was off and out of town. AJ had a soccer game on. Little did I know that they were going to get rained out the next day, so I missed his last game of the year. But I got the okay from Monica, and she's like, I'll take him since through their here. So it was a fun match. If you get the opportunity to go out, please do. They're at Soccer Central. They have the setup's pretty good. I took some pictures and stuff and posted them on my page here. They've got containers that they've done into the locker rooms, the press box right above that. Still need a video board, but a scoreboard that that would be nice to be able to kind of watch the time and stuff. But it's really coming down. It was with the rain, it was muddy walking to there, but they made what the best of what they could. Game action. The Athenians won 3-1. 3-0.
3-0. Yeah.
3-0 with goals by Natalie Hansen, Amanda Smith, and Allison Fahey. For it here, the first half they took it to them. Second half was really the battle of the goalkeepers, and heads off to the Athenians goalkeeper
Waldman.
Yeah, Mia Waldman from the University of Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
She was pretty good, but I will
pretty good, very good. That was outstanding second half for sure.
I will say that the Austin Elite goaltender went toe to toe and save by save, and the Athenians had 2 or 3 point blank shots, and she ended up saving them, and I still don't know how, but. If you get an opportunity, please do go out to Soccer Central. Please support the San Antonio Athenians. The product that they put out is outstanding. The team they've got is a team that you can get behind. They're a fun group. Lots of action. I saw our old friend Danielle doing the AR on the other side. So, to me, it's a fun family experience. They do have some stands, but you can bring your own chairs and kind of sit out. But please do. So that's the positive. Then we're going to turn to Sunday where so we want to start out with the injuries. So a couple of surprises that popped on. We knew Dylan, we knew Maloney, we knew Axel, but there were 2 new ones, Matthew DePlane and PC, both out. And of course, Nathan's suspension was confirmed, and we kind of discussed after initially hoping, hey, there really wasn't there, but upon closer review after watching it, he did kick out, and unfortunately, he got caught. So, a couple of surprises on there, and then we'll turn it over. Do we want to start with Royce or Rafa on the lineups that came out with DePlane and PC being out?
We'll start with Royce.
Yeah, we'll start with me. If you want to put up
my input on that.
If you want to put up the graphic, the game time graphic. So they set up in a 4-4-2. Typically, we've seen the 4-4-2s with a more dynamic left back, namely Galido's normally there or PC. Obviously, PC is not available, so they decided to put Doyle back there. As a left back other side. There you go. And that was the first kind of thing that made you question the formation because but serviceable. Doyle's a really good defender. Shouldn't have been any issues seen from that. And, that was pretty much the only change. Oh, and Hopiao was in because suspended Nathan. So Hopiao was up on the right wing, and Cuello was up as a striker partner next to Patino. So those are the big changes. The midfield is pretty much the same. The center backs are basically we did have the debut for Joaquin Varela from Argentina, so that was exciting to see. Who
Royce was hyping.
It's an exciting signing. I mean, he has a lot of
Aaron. How did you not know this?
a lot of first division Argentinian experience. So this was kind of the first time to see how. It was the first time to see his debut, although we only saw probably half of it because ESPN Plus kept going out. And what was really frustrating. Later on in the game, we'll get to it, but Leo Torres came on, as did Jose Gallegos, and I think we saw all of 5 minutes of Jose and none of Leo coming on, and a lot of USMNT, USYNT fans wanted to tune into that. Didn't happen because ESPN Plus kind of dropped the ball there on the broadcast, but anyway, that was a lineup, and pretty much how it went was, if you want to put up the graphic of the lineup that I created.
Oh, the lineup you created?
Yep. So let's talk about pretty much what happened in the game and kind of the struggle that nope. Last one.
The last one? Well, that's only 2 I got. Is there another one?
Yep. I sent 3. Anyway,
I got you here.
yeah, it's all good. We'll go through it. Anyway, so the issue was RGV likes to attack a lot up that right wing. There you go. So that's kind of what I'm thinking is that's exactly what Marcino was thinking, is that, hey, RGV is going to attack up this right wing. What we can do is we could put a center back there to really stop them. And then we can have kind of empty out the area, and we can try to put Lima a little bit back to help Doyle. And then we can quickly get the ball up with long balls up to Epps on the left wing, and then we can attack from there and just bypass their attack. Unfortunately, what ended up happening was by the time Doyle got the ball, he was already being pressed by 2, sometimes 3 players from RGV. And that's kind of what happened all night long. Doyle kept trying to get it up to trying to kick long balls up to Epps, and they didn't work out. They would go out of bounds. He was just under too much pressure all night. Him being under all that pressure, Varela had to come over to try to help him out a little bit, as did Lima came back from midfield to try to help out a little bit. And unfortunately, the other 2 in the back line, Gleedle and Kamiri, didn't see anywhere near as much pressure. So they were up a bit looking to get the attack. And so if you notice how wonky and lopsided that back 4 is, normally you want that in a nice line, or you want the 2 center backs at least next to each other. If you look at RGV's, number 4 and number 15 are their center backs. They are perfectly in line. That's exactly how they should be. And the 2
this is Manley who
the 2 fullbacks
was pressing with Sanchez.
Yep. And the 2 fullbacks can get high. If you notice how high number 2 is there, they're right back. That's because nobody's there to take up that space, because they're just pressing the living crap out of Doyle. And that was a very successful game plan for RGV. And that's pretty much how the whole game went. They attacked that side, and they got a lot of joy. And what ended up happening was Lima, go back to the graphic that I created, Lima came over to help out, came back to help out Doyle and Varela back there. So he came out. Lindley kind of went up and try to help the attack. And so we kind of emptied our midfield. So you saw a lot of times RGV would get the ball around the center circle, and they would just drive it to our penalty box, and nobody was there to confront them right in the middle from circle to half circle there. So that was a huge problem that we had. We had 0 link up between the back line, our defense, and our midfield and our attack. And it just kind of it just didn't end up good for us. The formation just kind of faltered until we started making some adjustments, and we kind of went for the all attack. We brought in Gallegos, we brought in Ollie Wright, we brought in Leo Torres, who got his season debut.
Did we?
Leo came in, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I missed it. I'm focusing on the game. That's
in this video.
yeah. Leo Torres, Schrodinger's cat. So
on FOPMob it said he got subbed in, but
yeah, exactly. So that's pretty much what ended up happening in the game. RGV ended up getting 2 goals. We got one kind of near the end on a set piece, which is very important. A set piece goal is a very good thing, because we are probably going to live and die by the set piece considering our pressing system. But that's not a bad thing, because we're obviously pretty dang successful when it comes to set pieces. So that's something to look forward to. But if you want to put up the formation, the 4-4-2 that I came up with, this is kind of, if the same players are unavailable next week, this is kind of how I would change things if I were Marcina. Instead of Doyle, I'd probably have Doyle sit. That's no mark on him. He's just not a left back, and he unfortunately just came under too much pressure. I would have Gleedle out there because Gleedle can come out and he can dribble out, as can Cuello. Cuello can come back and help out with the pressure, and they can dribble their way out of pressure. I think that would be a much more mobile left wing, and that would help out with any sort of attack on the right from the opponent. At the same time, I'd have Bryant as a right back just because he was there in the preseason. We saw him play there quite a bit, and I honestly expected him to start there. I thought he was serviceable, but obviously we didn't get to see really anything from the preseason. But I would have had Brian and Epps on the right wing to try to partner up and just keep that central midfield stout with Limit and Lindley. Keep them there, keep them strong, because that's really where the strength of this formation is in the midfield. If you remember last season, we were always talking PC's isolated. He's by himself, and that was kind of the downfall last season. That's why we have the double pivot in there, and we need to maintain them in their spot to stay strong. At the same time, like I said, Cuello needs to come back. I don't think he needs to be a forward. We lose a lot of what he offers when he goes forward. To try to play out of that pressure, and instead of Cuello being up top as a striker partner with Patino, I think Gallegos can do that job, which he did later on, and I think he was pretty successful at it. Just RGV at that time, they had their goal. Actually, they had 2 goals, and they just kind of dropped back, and they were just playing for the win, which, to their credit, that's exactly what they ended up doing. But this is how I would start. And next up, we have Rafa talk about how he would change things.
Yeah, for me, I think I would have played. I think with the personnel that we have, we'll play a 4-3-3. I think we have the speed for it, especially with Cuello and Epps. I think that really will help Patino out, kind of lessen from him getting double teamed, especially on the attacks. But the one thing is Epps and Cuello have the speed and the endurance to come back and help out either Bryant or Gleedle to cover those spaces. So, defending wise, we can end up with a 5-1, like a 4-5-1, but in the attack, looks like we can get those up top. Plus, it frees up Hopino, or if we do get PC back, like later on, that'll open him up to really, send those balls, especially those through balls, especially when we send them to Patino, especially from that first game. He's deadly on those, and we were missing that yesterday. So this is what if I was coaching the team, this is what I would have out there. Like I said, we have a team that can press a little bit more. I just want to have my big guns up there to lessen the pressure, like I said, for Patino, but still have the confidence for them to come back and help out our outside defenders. But also, attacking wise, like I said, I like to see Guido and Brian go up because they are, athletic. They can push up. They're great passers. They can send crosses in, so that's something that we need to take advantage of since we got some tall forwards. Plus, they'll open some space up for Epps. Epps can take some shots from outside, something with Quail. So that's my thing. What I would do if I was, like I said, coaching, I'll go with that lineup. But I just want to. I think we can pressure a lot more. I think we could do a lot more things with that formation.
For me, my biggest thing here, and it's to me, RGV had the ball 71.1%. We had it 28.9. I understand, we're probably not going to be the team that ever has the possession. But to me, that was too far advantage to RGV to where, Potino got his goal, but I don't think he really had the opportunities on the offensive side. It seemed like that RGV was always the one that was pushing against us, always on our side of the half. To me, how do we move forward? And the reason why I ask is with Legion FC. They're very quick. They've got speed. To be able to do it. They've got Nico Brett. You got Junior Flemings. what's his name? JJ Williams on there, and Kazim Prosper. So they're gonna have probably a better set to attack than what RGV brought to us. We've got to be able to have some sort of pressure, or some sort of possession of the ball. How do we connect the defense to the midfield, as Royce says, is the issue. And to me, I called it a home run ball, where you're just trying to go over the top and hope you can hit Patino. I think that works for a time, but you've got to be able to also transition to where you move the balls up. So, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much what we were talking about. As long as we have Lima and Lindley and they're in the middle, and they present that midfield, that's where you pretty much they stay there for defensive purposes. They don't necessarily dribble too much through them. You typically just stay on the wings, and that's why you need Cuello to come back as that left winger to play. Gleedle and or whoever's the left back can play through Cuello and dribble up. SAFC is this season. They're not a possession heavy team. They are very much we're going to stay stout. We're going to press you. We want you to have the ball because we want to counter press you. We want to take the ball off of you, have you completely unaware and unprepared, and go and create ourselves a shooting opportunity. And that's exactly what they're doing. Is 70% a lot for RGV to have the ball? Well, it should have been around the exact same thing. Exact same number it was for Real Monarchs, the same number it was for.
But that was a 60-40 split. That extra 10% matters.
So the extra 10% where that came from was Doyle not having the space and time to pass and kicking it long. That's where that 10% comes from. So if you change Doyle out for a left back who can dribble out with Cuello, bring him back. That's a big part. I think Doyle would have been much more successful had Cuello been back and helped him dribble out. I don't put this all on Doyle. I put this on Doyle wasn't really set up to succeed, and he was just put in a tough spot. And honestly, for them to only score that one goal on him on his side, that shows how good of a defender he is, because that could have been a lot more, because they were overloading his side, and he was pretty successful. But he was left on an island. That's the problem. Exactly. So, like I said, you get Cuello to come back. You have Gleedle on that side. Maybe you even start Doyle again on the left, but you have Cuello come back as the wing to help him out to try to dribble out. You would still be more successful that way if you don't think if you don't think Ethan's ready for as a right back. But they definitely need to figure out how to play out of the back more through their wingers, whether you have, if you want to avoid the left side, then, kick it on your right side, give it to Bryant to Lindley, and then Lindley up to Epps or Hopiau, whoever's on the right wing. Yeah, that's what we got to do. And the long balls, like I mentioned the last couple weeks, is just unfortunate. But the main thing, and kind of the moral of the story is get healthy. Exactly. I know Rafa's been kind of clamoring for get another forward if Dylan's hurt. You just got one of the arguably the best forwards in the league off of your injured list in this game, in Jose Gallegos. I don't think we're lacking depth at all. I think we're just so injured right now. We have 6 guys on the injured list, 4 of them on the back line. It's insane. And this is just one of those hurt games that are going to happen. It's good. Like I was telling y'all, it's good to get these out of the way early. Work these kinks out, work out all the mess, and know exactly who you're going to be, work everything out to where at the end of the season, you're hot and you're looking to get into the playoffs. This is still a really, really good team. Just a bad result.
And to me, it's if this result was against, let's say, El Paso or anybody else in the West, probably, you just chalk it up as, hey, it was just one of those nights. The bad part is it's against RGV.
Yeah,
that's
help.
The thing that stings a little bit more, that gets looked a little bit more.
especially with how bad they were last season. But you also have to look. They
This
took
is a
they stole
different
game
team.
from they stole a game from New Mexico United. They stole a game from San Diego, who's looking really bad this season. Good Lord. San Diego 0-3. They lost 3-1 to the Defiance.
Well, if you
They're
had
not good.
after what this is start of week 5, if you had RGV leading the Mountain and Los Dos leading the Pacific, and in second place was Tacoma, nobody would have believed you.
No. Hell,
Nobody
OC has started poorly. San Diego started very poorly.
Yeah, we're not San Diego,
crazy,
0-3, and
New Mexico hasn't even looked that good.
New Mexico responded well. They played Austin.
They played Austin, and Austin has a very old back line that got exposed in that game. We'll talk about that before we play one of them, but good.
It's their first game.
Lord.
So we'll see what adjustments.
Exactly. It's their first game.
Game 2.
But it really looked like the first thing Austin wanted to do was fight people, and then the second thing they wanted to do was play soccer. So grain of salt, but we'll see what they do in game 2.
Retirement.
What were your thoughts on the Cards in the first half? I know there were a couple. San Antonio had 3 early. I think that kind of changed a little bit of how much that they press or how attacking and RGV actually had more fouls but less yellow cards.
What I think happened was, I remember properly, the yellow cards were to Patino and Cuello. I think there was one more. Was it Lindley? It may have been Lindley. Or maybe the announcer said Lindley and it was somebody else. I'm sure the announcer said PC got one too.
45th.
Yeah.
Email and 45 plus 3 and Patino got
So
we instead of doing the PC watch, we got to do the Patino watch because he's already on 3.
But you know what? Hold on. Time out. Patino has 3 yellow cards, but you know what he has 4 of? Goals. I don't care. Don't care. As long as he has more goals than yellow cards, don't care. No, but from Cuello, especially Cuello's, I remember because that was an ugly challenge, just late from behind through the ankle. That was one of frustration because he was not getting service. I think he just wasn't getting service, and he knew that they were kind of set up to fail in this match. Things weren't going right, and I think that was just him being just frustrated, and that was
Robert has it right there. That game was just so sloppy.
Yeah,
it was a sloppy game. It was just
it was. Yes, all the way from the broadcast, it was a sloppy game.
The announcers, thank you PC for a shot on goal, no yellow cards,
incredible.
And
did I have a shot on goal too, even though I wasn't there? Yeah, that was bad.
So we got a few minutes before Kaylor joins us from Hammering Down here. So I know we've kind of touched on this, but do we want to kind of bring up what Coach Marcina, kind of his role? I know we've kind of talked about the lineups. Anything that he could have done in game possibly better than what he did? Is there anything along those lines that he could have made adjustments that you would have liked to see, Rafa?
I think he needs to recognize a little bit quicker. Especially from the get-go, you can see that Doyle was having problems, not necessarily as far as defending, as far as problems, as far as being, getting double team, and his passing up front was not helping. I think he should have recognized that. I think he should have made an adjustment as far as maybe in the formation to give him some support. And I think he does that a little bit earlier. Maybe the result will be different. Maybe we end up with a 1-1 tie, or something like that. Or maybe we do with a 1-0.
I think he did try to make a couple adjustments. Like I said, he tried to have Lima come back and help out. But it's just, what he needed to do is he needed to abandon having Cuello up top, and he needed to switch Epps and Cuello.
Yeah.
Hapiao, I don't even know if I heard his name the entire match, and that's not on him. That's
why don't they go to the other side? Because it seems like that they and I don't know if it's
Like-
just how
That goes
Matt
back to
prefers to
both of
go.
those.
that was the game plan. The game plan was to bypass their right back and the right winger and use that space. That was their game plan. That's why they never went to the other side. It's because the game plan was these two guys are going to be that high up. We're going to burn them all day. Did not work. It did not work. And like I said, what needed to happen was you needed to have Cuello come back, Ep stay up, but Cuello comes back, and you still have Patino up top. So what you could have done was instead of the 4-4-2, which it didn't even look like a 4-4-2 because of kind of how it was more like a 4-3-3, you needed to go back to a 4-2-2 instead of a kind of a lopsided 4-3-3 as what they had. So that would have helped out. You would have helped out Doyle with another person to mark somebody over there because, I mean, Doyle was facing 2, 3, sometimes 4 players. And it's like I said, it's a credit to him that it was only 1-0 heading into halftime. So,
And I know it hasn't.
and the other goal came from those adjustments that were made at halftime to have Lima come back and Lindley push forward, and nobody was in the midfield, and that's why they dribbled right through and got that second goal. So there were adjustments; they just weren't the right adjustments, as the score shows.
Your thoughts, and like I said here, it was awesome to, not that we got to see it, but Fabrizio Bernal came on in the 71st minute for Epps.
Did he really?
Yes.
God.
Well, we didn't get to see it.
I know.
I don't remember seeing it.
I didn't see Bernal. I didn't see Torres.
They tried to pick a fight with him, one of the RGV guys, because I mean, it was just a regular foul.
I didn't see it. I didn't. Insane.
So the subs that we had were all San Antonio connected. You had Leo Torres in the 84th, Wright in the 58th minute.
Ollie Wright.
Ollie Wright. Although he didn't, to me, he didn't really. My frustration with Ollie is it seems like every time he gets it, he tries to shoot it instead of passing. And I know it's
there's somebody on this podcast that was hoping that somebody would start taking shots from the outside, and Harry seems frustrated with that.
But they're not solid shots, so that's the issue.
That comes with inexperience or.
Yeah, and then Bernal came on.
So shooting from outside the box willy nilly is a bad thing now, Rafa?
Well, no, it's not a bad thing. I said it's an inexperience as far as you know when to shoot it from outside, you know when not to shoot from outside. I think he needs to really kind of I think within time he'll learn how to view more of the field. But that's nothing wrong with him taking those shots. But
it's the timing of the shots, though.
The timing, yeah.
It was, and like I said, I'm happy that he's got the confidence to do it, but because we didn't have that last year, and Royce is fair to call me out saying, "Hey, that's what you asked for last year and this year."
Nacho Bailone.
And
we did have a dude do the same thing. Come on, man.
But so all 4 of the subs that came on, even though we didn't get to see 3 of them. Or 2 of them, pardon me, all San Antonio area kids. So shout out to Bernal, Ollie, Leo, and Jose for coming on. Jose, I hope you're starting. Joining us now is Kaylor from Hammering Down Podcast of Legion FC. I already said your city's name wrong, so I'm not going to say it again.
Birmingham. It's not pork. Birmingham.
And I don't want to get,
it's not too different. Birmingham. We say Birmingham or Birmingham, whichever one.
Well, Birmingham sounds more delicious, but it's Birmingham.
I mean, we're known for our barbecue, man. That's like the whole thing with us with Memphis.
You're talking to Texans. Let's calm down on the barbecue front.
It's different.
So Kaylor's team, Legion FC, had a. I haven't listened to your podcast this morning here, so I apologize here if you put one out here. But got a closer than expected 1-0 win over Memphis at Legion Field. So I watched the game. It was kind of cool to see you guys.
They had grass.
No, it's turf at Legion. No, they weren't at the normal BBVA field. They're still replacing that. So they
that
didn't
makes
want to play in
sense.
the
I was
sandbox.
surprised. I was like, wow, it's a quick turnaround. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
They don't
were
work
playing,
that fast.
They did at Toyota Field one season. One season we had a sandbox, and the next week it was like, oh, new sod. Look at that.
Yeah, we had the same issue a couple years ago against the Rowdies, where it was probably twice as bad as what you guys saw against Indy 11.
Right.
And it was miserable. They had to go and replace the sod, and
The most embarrassing thing, we hosted Cardiff City on the sandbox. Yeah. And then they went and replaced the sod like 2 weeks later. So they're like, yeah, this sucks. We need to replace everything. It's not growing. Yeah, that was embarrassing. Cardiff City, please come back. That was awesome. Everybody enjoyed it. We have grass.
Nobody got hurt. Nobody got hurt.
Nobody did.
it's all right.
But you guys had with the largest attendance, 10,177 according to the USL website here. Obviously, Memphis is kind of like your RGV rival, where listening to you kind of discount them quite a bit. And for this year, obvious reasons, because I think they're still developing a team. I think somebody else just got signed. Tim Howard, is he coming back? Again.
Tim Howard's going to be midfielder and striker.
Well, Tim Howard was easily the worst goalkeeper we've seen suit up for Memphis 901. So the guy that they got in goal now, Burner, is an absolute stud. Yeah, he's the only reason that was still a 1-0 game. I mean, if it wasn't for him, if that was any other goalkeepers they've had in the past, that's a 2-3, 4-0 game.
So your thoughts on how Legion's looking this year so far here? I know it's early. I think you guys have got, 3 games played as well?
Yep, 3 games.
I know there was one that you were a little bit disappointed on, the Indy game. But you guys are sitting at 4 points just like we are, 1-1-1. So thoughts on the Legion's first 3 games? You beat the rival. You tied Lou City on the road, which is very impressive. And then you lost in the sandbox the BBVA version to Indy 11, and kind of an unlucky game. Unlucky. Well, I won't say it was an unlucky goal, but I thought the match was pretty even. And once they got that one goal, I think they just kind of sat back and absorbed your guys' pressure, and they were able to walk away with the road win.
Yeah. So the Legion, we have seen 2 different versions of this Legion team. Well, I guess 3. So let's start off with the one that looked the worst. I got the emotional response out of everybody, including me. I did have to delete part of my podcast because I went too far into players, and I realized I went too far, and I was like, that's not a good look. Never record near midnight, but it's that team, which it was very uninspired. We know we're more talented than most teams in the division, and we're just going to roll out there and win, because last year we could just do that. We were better than everybody else, and we're even better this time. It was very uninspired, very much not playing as a team. And we kind of saw this against the Red Wolves, Chattanooga in a friendly, which that was another very sandy pitch that day. And it was just very much, this team works on quick 1-2 passes, and unlike Indy, where they like to play everything slow and play everything simple, Birmingham is a very quick team, and we have guys who, like Johnny Dean, is probably, I'm being dead serious, the fastest player in USL. He's just lightning quick, and then there's Junior Flemings, who's not much slower than him. And so they like to play fast, but on a sandy pitch, couldn't really do that. So we had guys try to go on their own, and it just didn't work. We go against Louisville City, where everybody started playing more as a team, but you could tell that we were missing pieces, especially whenever we're without Junior Flemings, we were without JJ Williams, and then we lose Prosper Kasim and Mikey Lopez early in the second half. That was hard. And then there was this team that we saw last week, which again was missing a lot of talent, was missing our best defender in Alex Cronali. We were missing Mikey Lopez for the whole match. We were missing Johnny Dean, who was the leading assister in all of fullbacks in the USL last year. Massive piece gone. And we lost Prosper Kasim in the 20th minute. So those are 4 starters that were just instantly gone from that lineup. But last week was different against Memphis, and this is what we're starting to see more of what we saw against Atlanta United, where instead of just counterattacking and just inviting pressure and just beating people on the counterattack, we pressed and forced mistakes and then counterattacked, because before we just wanted mistakes to happen and then we sprung. This time we caused more mistakes, which is what I've been wanting to see, because we have the guys like a Nico Brett, like a Prosper Kasim, like a Bruno Lapa, who can force the mistake and then immediately counter.
Any questions you guys have?
So do you guys?
What do you look for this game, this coming game?
What am I looking for?
Yeah, looking forward as far as the game between our team,
Like the setup for the Legion coming to San Antonio.
So, I mean, just out of sentiment, I'm very happy that Zach Harifa and Mikey Lopez are going back. I know those are guys that are very, tied knit into the San Antonio community. So I'm very excited for them to go back, and I'm excited for the fans to see them again. I'm glad it's happening this year and not inside of a stadium that didn't have fans. Something else that I'm really looking forward to is San Antonio, while looked very flat against Rio Grande this last week, they're still one of the best teams out in the West. And I know that a lot of San Antonio fans saw a lot of panic, but from what I saw as an outsider, there's not much to panic about. It was just one of those games.
Yeah.
And so us going against a top-tier team, which we saw we could go toe-to-toe with Louisville City, but can we go to Texas in the middle of the summer and do it? It's like a rainy night in Stoke, basically. I mean, we just got to see if we can do it. And if we can escape with a point, then that's great. If we can go away with a win, then I'm feeling very excited about the upcoming season. A loss, if it's close, I might take it.
To me, what sticks out is the back line. I know you mentioned Dean, but Ryan James on the other side's a very good fullback, and Kavita in the middle is the other one that I known from previous experiences. So, and then you've got probably I think he's rocking a beard, but with Matt Van Okel, facial hair is, you never know what you're going to get. I'll just say
our team definitely has the different hairstyles, with Mikey dyeing his hair whichever way he wants to that week. And then whatever Matt Van Okel is doing with his hair / beard that week, you're just kind of along for the ride and just hoping it's not whatever it was against Tampa Bay.
Fair.
So to me, I know San Antonio is more of a pressing team, along those lines here. How do I've been telling, these guys here, watch out for the speed from the Legion. How do you see the game playing out? Because it seems like both sides are going to be, pressing each other. I think both are fairly speedy in certain areas. I think we got with Patino, he's quick, but he's got that physical size up front. I know we tend to play on the line. We'll say, RGV's, head coach called us a little bit dirty for kicking. We'll say, but I think it, and I know Alan Marcina's got the reputation of being an ankle biter. For out here with just how his team plays, it's always, it's always in your face here. So pressure wise, for Legion FC, and I know it's only 3 games, but have they faced a team that kind of puts a lot of pressure on them? I don't think I think Louisville's more. I don't think they press. Now I don't watch them as closely as you do, but with their lineup, I don't think that they're quite pressing. Memphis, that was their first game, so we'll see what they grow into. And Indy isn't one that typically presses either, as you mentioned. That's more kind of stay back and build from the back.
So we've kind of seen this happen before, and Louisville City presses a little bit, but not as much as you probably would think. With the talent they have the ability to do it, and if a match calls for it, they can do it and do it well, but that's not their style. But we have seen it once in this friendlies, and it was against Atlanta United, their MLS squad, which that match was every single person on that team except for one player was their normal starting 11. So we saw the real deal Atlanta United, and they're very pressing, extremely pressing. And for everybody that was there at that match, and you can go back and watch a replay of it, the Legion were the best team on the pitch that day, and it's not close. And so what that really shows me is that this back line, which coming into the season, I had as the biggest question mark. I thought that was going to be the biggest place. It's like we have talent, but for some reason, every single center back who's ever played for the Legion decides to die, which is what we like to do. I mean, y'all have seen him, Zach Harivo. I always pronounce his name wrong.
Call him Dirty Harry.
Well, either way, he was a center back for us in our first season. Yeah, we get that. That's our backline issues.
Bold.
But this year, they've ended up being a strength for us with an Alex Cernali who has amazing on-the-ball skills that you don't see out of most 6'4", 6'5", whatever he is, center backs. He's amazing. Fanuel Kavita is a beast. Johnny Dean can run past anybody with the ball. And then a guy that has popped up for us who has been a Fimu, who he is a guy with 4 years of USL professional experience, and he's 20 years old. He is well over 4,000 minutes in the USL now at 20. And he plays like a professional's professional. He's only had one moment where he's like, that's a 20-year-old like right there. But that was against Louisville City, who is the top class in this division. Yeah. But this back line, if you guys press us, I think it's going to break us down a little bit more than other teams have in the past. But if this is the same team that we roll out against Atlanta United, if that same team shows up, then it might be a long day for San Antonio, assuming that our forwards can finish.
Royce, any questions you have?
Yeah, I mean, taken from that and those context clues, it sounds like Birmingham really likes to attack up the wings and utilize their speed and their pace up there. As far as the midfield, I know obviously Mikey and Harival are there. Is it just more of a defensive stance midfield with kind of the fullbacks and the wingers kind of attacking and crossing into the strikers, or how normally what is the game plan for their attack, I guess is my question.
So believe it or not, a lot of our attacks start from the wings, but that's where the counterattack starts. But the real offense happens in our midfield with Bruno Lapa, who was our team MVP and was first team All USL last year. He was one of the most remarkable stories coming out of college last year. He slipped through the cracks, didn't get drafted through MLS because he's Brazilian and didn't have a green card. So nobody wanted to use their international on him. Yeah. And he is way too good to be in the USL. So I'm thankful we have him. But he is a phenomenal player, and he is very good at distributing the ball. And what we really see a lot is Anderson Sidu, who is probably the most improved player from last year from this team. He is a very aggressive player. So like you guys, if he goes and takes out somebody's ankle, or decides to get in the face of a ref or whoever, it's not out of the ordinary. That's just Anderson. But he'll dribble through anybody, and it's almost impossible to get the ball off his feet. He lays it off to Bruno, who Bruno has the option to lay it down the middle for someone like Nico Brett, or he pushes it out to the wings where a guy like a Junior Flemings or a Ryan James or a Johnny Dean or someone like that can get onto the ball. So really our offense, we win the ball in the wings, push it to Bruno, and then let Bruno run his magic. And from there, it's wherever he has the ball, you just kind of have to watch the space around him because he's going to try to find all the open space. So really it's a plug the gap and pray.
Gotcha.
One thing, because Nico Breck is 5'8", you're starting forward.
That might be generous.
So height-wise, are you guys a small? It seems like you guys are a smaller team because I think Junior Flemings is fairly small as well. As small.
Flemings, I think it's like 5'10", 5'11" with cleats on. So yeah, I mean.
So you guys, it's really the speed for you guys. So I think one thing San Antonio will have over you is the height. Especially the back line of San Antonio is what average 6'4". For that, and Patino is what 6'3", 6'4" as well up top, and I think Nathan, if Nathan returns through there, I think Jose Gallegos is probably at 5'8", 5'9" ish range, probably around there here. But I'm wondering if San Antonio may have a little bit more advantage, especially when it comes to set pieces, being able to defend them, and also possibly corners and stuff. Through there, how is the height on Legion, or is it mainly up top that they're a little bit shorter, but in the back you got the trees back there as well?
We definitely have a very, very tall team as well. We have shorter guys up top, but we also have JJ Williams, who was a first-round draft pick in the MLS draft to the Crew. And he's most famously known for getting a red card and then cussing out a ref in the bubble. Solid. And he is 6'3", 6'7".
He's 6'4", yeah.
Yeah, so he's 6'4", can jump as high as you want, and just a massive human being.
They got some size up top.
And then you have a guy like Alex Cernali, who is 6'4", 6'5". You have Fanuel Kavita, who is 6'2", 6'3", and then you have a Benefimo, who is 6'3" as well. So we have our own guys, and they're really spread out. Our back line is very, very tall, but you also have a ball-winning midfielder in JJ Williams, who can also get onto his head on just about anything. So we kind of have best of both worlds. It just depends on what lineup Coach Stone rolls out there, because do we want to have our size out there to battle against you guys, or do we want to just get our shorter guys and just run past you? It depends on what Coach Stone wants. We've seen in the past him like to do a mixture of both. He wants to have the option, but if he were to commit to one over the other, it could definitely be an interesting matchup for sure.
Any final questions that you have, Rafa or Royce, for Kaylor?
Not at all. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, guys.
Any questions you have for us here, Kaylor? I know I'm going to be following up with you on Wednesday on your podcast here, but any other questions that you have for us?
I mean, this is just for any of our fans. I know we're going to have a few fans in attendance. What should I expect?
So I do know. So we always have a tailgate. It is going to be social distant, wear a mask, whatever. Tailgates are going to be sponsoring, but they're going to be put on by 210 Alliance, the Crocketeers, and Mission City 118. And this weekend's it's going to be. Did y'all see the tweet about the Chinese dinner?
Yeah, from 210. So the Crocketeers typically do the sausage and stuff.
They're sponsored by Kielbasa, which is
really really good. And then they'll have. Hold on one second here. Let me do 210 here first, since I got
210 has they're sponsored by some restaurant.
The Walk of Texas. They're having that it's free food. They also have Ranger Creek beer for that, which is one of the local breweries in town.
This is all free, by the way. All free. Man, you do have to show card, just right. They'll ID you, obviously, but the food's free for anybody, and it's a family-friendly tailgate.
And then for the Crocketeers, hold on, Second Pitch Beer and Tough Dog Brewing, both are home craft beers, I think, for that here that they have come out with Southside Soda, which is also. Very soft good. Yeah. Not your normal Coke stuff like that here. It's I'm sure James may yell at me, but I always try to sneak a couple of them home for a week.
Attaboy.
They're that good.
but anyway, this starts at 4. Kickoff
Usually
is at 7:30. Yeah. It's from 4 to 6:30 or 7, and then there's a march to the stadium with the supporters groups, and they'll go settle in our little bar patio scene we have behind the south goal.
But normally so San Antonio has said this is going to be Viva Week. And there's a logo that we're going to talk about here momentarily here for that here about it's kind of a fiesta look, which is it's a San Antonio holiday, I guess you would say. I'm not from here.
It's kind of like our Mardi Gras.
It's just a reason to get drunk.
Yeah, it's a reason just to party. It's a 2-week-long party in San Antonio. If you're gonna come to San Antonio, come next year because it's gonna be back on and it's gonna be pretty amazing. But there's like oyster bake. There's night in Old San Antonio. There's New Orleans. Yeah, Taste of the North Side, which is just engorging yourself with ridiculous food and getting drunk. That's basically for 2 weeks. That's our
have safe drivers, please.
yeah. Uber, Lyft, cab. Yeah, for sure.
Or designated driver if you can do it the old-fashioned way here. Because I will say SAPD is out quite a bit. And that goes for if you go to a San Antonio FC match as well. Please drink responsibly.
Yeah.
As far as the game day environment, Toyota Field, now we're probably impartial to it, but I think it's probably a top 10, top 5 in
top
USL.
Top 5.
As far as just the environment, because the fans are right there. It's a lower league stadium that's built. It's not a pop-up stadium. It was built to possibly rise to MLS standards. Of course, that didn't come true for that here. But to me, it's if you ever make the trip out, it's to me it's one of those stadiums that I think that kind of like Highmark is up in Pittsburgh. It's one of those, if you're a fan of USL, it's one that whether it's your team that's playing or you just happen to be coming to San Antonio for whatever. If you have the opportunity to go, it'll be something that you won't forget, and it'll generally will leave a good taste. There's first match probably wasn't so much if you're visiting just with the lines and stuff for this year, but typically it's
the second match was much better. The lines were fun. There's some when you get in the stadium there are some new food choices that are pretty nice. There's a local chef that has a couple restaurants. One's called Burgerteca. The other's called
La Gloria.
La Gloria. La Gloria's Mexican food. Burgerteca's burgers, believe it or not. But they're like chef made stuff. It's
you like mole? If you like mole in your burger,
really good. It's good stuff. So,
Solid.
But it's a good time. It's good atmosphere. It's fun. It's family friendly. I mean, just don't go to the bar with the supporters groups, but it's family friendly. Everybody's fine. And right now it's only a third capacity.
I mean, no one's died. It's fine.
So,
but yeah, we've had supporters that have came in and
absolutely
like here they're well received. Like I met the New Mexico United owner. He came out to the tailgate, and looks at the curse and. Colorado Springs just came down. Obviously, the Texas teams, have all came. But anybody that's came down, generally leaves, and depending on the game day.
It's when they come up to San Antonio that's kind of the problem where we run into not so friendly confidence.
Down south.
That's all right.
But Kaylor, was definitely awesome to have you on. Like I said here, we'll talk. I think it's Wednesday, right? You and I on your show here, kind of previewing, the upcoming match from our side to your side. But thank you for coming on. And like I said here, if we get to do this again next year or maybe in the finals, which I would not object, especially if it's hosted here.
Cool.
There shouldn't be sand at BBVA by that time, so we should be okay.
Knock on wood. But
if you get the finals, being able to have, because what BBVA only holds 5, right?
Yeah.
If you had the final, being able to hope it at Legion Stadium and have 15 to 20, 25,000 or, however many people that you can get crammed in there, that would be a pretty impressive, thing there. Because we know the South, despite the, I still remember Chattanooga FC playing Cosmo 2 in the I think it was NPSL final, having close to 18,000.
Yeah.
Atlanta United's, always near the top. So I could bet Alabama would turn out if it's a championship game. Obviously you wouldn't get 100,000, but it wouldn't shock me if you could turn out, 15, 20, 25,000, in Birmingham if it was the USL championship game.
The issue with Legion Field is that if you put 25,000 people in there, that whole stadium might collapse. Like I don't
really.
Oh,
Was it
it's
RFK.
it's old, man. It's called the Old Gray Lady for a reason. There's
It
a
looks
reason
nice
that
on TV.
it looks nice on TV until you go outside and see that every single structure of it is rusting.
Oh, no.
So it's
Did Anthony Precourt have a team there before and just kind of let it go to ruins? Is that what happened?
hey, listen, there hasn't been any logo changes around here or anything like that. It's all right.
Thank God. That, obviously, that's not a sore subject at all for us here in San Antonio. Anyway.
But I will say this: go Runners, beat UAB next year. I'm pretty sure we'll face again. That's it's
At the new stadium. That's going to be at Protective, and that's a 40,000 U.S. stadium in Birmingham, and it is
Nice.
a beauty.
I will say UTSA football next year. Watch
Very nice.
out. They are going to be
Yeah.
loaded. It wouldn't shock me if of course you need a QB, and that I think that's the weakness of UTSA. Depending on if Frank Harris can stay healthy and if his accuracy can improve. But with not to change the subject off of SAFC, but UTSA football,
Weapons.
Conference USA,
Weapons.
watch out.
Yeah.
I know UAB's been very, very good, and you guys have probably the best coach in Conference USA, and how he's
Besides
still at
Jeff Traylor.
UAB. I don't know how somebody hasn't grabbed him yet, but
Because he
Jeff
doesn't
Traylor.
want to leave.
He probably has a pretty good there in Birmingham, to be fair.
He doesn't want to leave. I mean, he's definitely gotten offers, and I think he was offered the job at Auburn, but he was like, nah, my home's in Birmingham. He likes what he's building here. So,
Fair.
So, but we'll look forward to maybe exchanging some friendly banter back and forth when CUSA football is going on. If you're a Blazers fan, being from Alabama, you may be a Alabama fan, and I don't like Alabama fans.
A fighting Nick Saban.
I
That's
mean-
unfortunate.
I mean, listen, man, they're paying my tuition. What can I do?
Fair. Absolutely fair.
So, but it was a pleasure speaking with you, Kaylor. Kaylor, pardon me. Thank you for having, and I'll see you on Wednesday.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
See you, Kaylor. Appreciate it, man.
All right, that was Kaylor Hodges of Hammering Down podcast here, and like I said here, please follow him on YouTube, and on the broadcast, your broadcast of choice for that here. Final thoughts, guys. It's been kind of an up and down show. Athenians won, ESPN Plus, RGV, but it was horrible. The RGV match was not good for us. We'll just say great for them, and happy for Down in the Valley to finally have a season where they can smile about and not like, hey, we're the worst team for that here. So
Yeah, they've already surpassed their win total.
from last year.
Yeah.
They should have count their chickens before they hatch. It's too early.
I will say, at least we're not Oklahoma City. I don't know if you've been following Oklahoma City.
Yeah, we're not a lot of teams that are.
Not
we're
good.
not Memphis. We're not Oklahoma City. We're not. Yeah, there's.
And
a
just
lot
to
of
kind of give you guys,
Yikes.
it's never good. It's never good to lose to RGV.
No.
But when you look at the position here, Louisville City's at 4 points. Now they've only played 2 games, but they're still at 4 points. San Antonio's still second. 5 points back from RGV. But I do think RGV is going to come back once they kind of get figured out with what they're doing. New Mexico United, is at 4 points. Phoenix Rising's at 6. Sacramento's at 6. You've got LA Galaxy 2 and Tacoma Defiance at 7 points.
San Diego Loyal 0 points.
San Diego Loyal at no points. 3 matches played, -6.
That's a big surprise.
Oakland Roots have played 1 game, so it's still early. We're not the Bold. I'm sorry, Bold. I've been predicting your failure for a couple of years, and I think this year might be the year I'm finally right when it comes to it. But there is one thing that we do have to talk about here. We kind of already hinted on it, and I wish SAFC would give us a little bit more of what their plan is. But like with SAFC, it is still to be determined. But
it's so good. Oh my goodness.
Royce, I know you said you wanted to talk about it, and we couldn't talk about it anymore. So tell me about what you see and what this means to San Antonio.
It's Fiesta, man. It's Fiesta in the SAFC logo. I mean, I know the Spurs did it, and so they're kind of doing the same thing the Spurs did, which, I mean, that's the same family. It's SAFC, hashtag SAFC family. But, man, it just makes me excited. It makes me excited because we're getting to the post-COVID days, the post-lockdown, not post-COVID because we're always going to live with it, but the post-lockdown days. We missed Fiesta last year, and we're getting to more normal. San Antonio is just a celebration city. I miss how friendly everybody was because we really haven't been able to interact as a city, which really sucks. And just getting back to that just makes me excited. I guess I don't know if we're doing final thoughts right now, but my final thought is, man, get vaccinated because we're so close. We're so close, and Fiesta is so close, and we can get back to how we were. We can get back to celebrating.
And if you're 12 years or older, you're eligible now.
12 years or older, and pretty soon it's going to be even younger than that. 12 years or older can get the Pfizer. So, and I mean, I'm sure we're all vaccinated now, all 3 of us. It is like 2 days of kind of being uncomfortable, and it's a lot better than the alternative, because was it 30% of people that do get COVID deal with long COVID symptoms, and it's bad, man. It's really bad. I mean, I know we've been saying this for a year, more than a year, but if you get that vaccine, I mean, it'll keep you out of the hospital, and that's the most important part. But let's get vaccinated. Let's just get back to normal as soon as we can. That's the ticket to it. Just go get vaccinated. It's, like I said, 2 days of discomfort, and that's pretty much it. And you're good.
Your final thoughts there, Rafa?
Final thoughts, I guess, looking at that picture, I'm like, could that be the 3rd jersey? The coming out pretty soon, or for Saturday's game?
Good point.
The Spurs do have that Fiesta jersey.
Well, they do. I mean, now that you mentioned that, not to hijack you, but I just did. They do have the road jersey that has those stripes. Maybe they paint in those stripes with some Fiesta colors.
So, that'd be probably the new 3rd jersey, the black and the Fiesta kind of little.
I'm so excited.
Sash and all that. Yeah. So we'll see, or maybe their new workout tops. Who knows?
Yeah.
So we'll see. Hopefully they do sell it.
Yeah, I need to win an auction this time.
One beef I do have, they don't sell visors. So anyone at merchandising, go invest some visors for SAFC because I'll buy some from you guys. But my final thought, like I said, can't mention enough. Like I said, get vaccinated. We're like this close coming back. For almost being, I'm not saying back to normal, but close to it. Venues are starting to pop up, like concerts are starting to come back, even though they canceled the big one that I'm supposed to go to, so I have to wait another year.
Oh no, what they cancel?
The Def Leppard, Motley Crue.
So if I had that ticket,
the big stadium,
the big stadium tour, so I have to wait till next year. But it's all right. I did see a couple other shows I'll probably go to.
Yeah, knock on wood, Rammstein's still coming in September, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Alice Cooper's coming to Austin in September, with Ace Frehley, so I'll probably go to that. Actually, we'll be in Austin that week, so Also, going back to that, I mean, I have good news from my work. It was something leaked out. Looks like I'll be traveling back. Well, leaked out from out east for my recruitment. During my recruitment trips, I normally go to do college fairs and stuff. I did see a tentative schedule to be back on the road, which I'm happy about. So
Very nice.
So it looks like it'll be lots of road tripping to West Texas, hopefully El Paso, definitely San Antonio, Austin. So you'll get to. So I might miss a couple episodes, or I might just sneak in while I'm live from the college fair and so forth.
Hey, Rafa, Matt just posted RIP to Mary Martinez, Mission City,
Oh, yeah.
118.
Yeah, that's where I also mentioned that. Former, Mission City, brothers or sister Mary Martinez passed away from COVID complications. So we do want to send out, our prayers and condolences to the family. Our prayers are with you, and anything you guys need, we're family. Anything, you can reach out to us, and just so you know, we're hurting too. I know a lot of people have lost people because of COVID, like I said, but we're here. You're in our prayers, and so hopefully, like I said, SAFC will get a win for her on Saturday against Birmingham.
Yeah. So my final thought, hard to follow that up here. Circling back up, San Antonio Athenians do host Central Texas Hornets this Saturday night at 7:30. So they're going to go head to head against SAFC. So if you don't have tickets to SAFC and you're looking for a good alternative, that's no cost outside of the gas to get over to Soccer Central. It is a great thing, a great time. The Athenians, I think, showed that they're probably going to be the class of the UWS Southwest. Although we got to see how some of the teams up north start here, but at least early on, they beat who I thought was going to be the second toughest team in FC Austin Elite. But yeah, please, and I know Roy's kind of mentioned this here. We're close. We've all lost people that's close to us, due to COVID, for out here. My big thing here is also with the mental aspect of it, with kids and stuff here. Please kind of keep involved and along those lines. And if you do need to discuss, I'm sure any of us, would have no problem chit-chatting with you, or, reach out to the National Suicide Hotline. But please, wash your hands, wear your mask still. If I know CDSC's kind of relaxed it, but if you're going to HEB or public places, please wear your mask still. If you're outside, I understand that.
And also remember that, any kids under 12, they still can't get vaccinated. So, yeah. My family's still going to wear their masks. We're still going to use the same precautions because my kid can't get vaccinated, and I don't want him to get sick. So if you see somebody with a mask, it's because they're worried about somebody that they love. And I've got
used to it too. And
exactly.
To be honest with you,
yeah,
they've already done studies that people catching the flu was down this year because partly, number one, people are washing their hands and being a little bit cleaner. Honestly, but number two, the mask helps keep you stay healthy. So there's a reason, why, people over in Japan and China, and all those lines have been wearing masks well before COVID.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't, for right here. And, as I told my wife, I like being able to kind of mumble without people knowing that I'm mumbling.
Nice.
So I can say my snarky comments to myself and nobody has any wiser. But just to kind of, I had a Karen story. Speaking of that here, AJ had a game on and their team, they were getting destroyed. And then one kid, they were up 12, 13, 14 to nothing. And one kid's all, doing the Superman going down the field. And I was like, hey, have a little bit of class. And then, of course, this Karen, popped back, well, why are you commenting? That's our kids. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. Just, it's your team's clapping. I'm like, yes, they're clapping to say, hey, it's 0-0 still, to keep fighting for each other. But so needless to say, I had a little sideline infraction, and Monaco's right there going, really? So,
Nice.
But it was kind of fun. But you know, it was just you know, wear your mask. You know, that way you can say stuff and people don't take offense to it. Because I wasn't
You're gonna
wearing.
get one of those coaches who's kicking and screaming from that Will Ferrell movie.
It wasn't even, I wasn't even
man.
saying stuff that bad. You know, I was on the ref a little bit, you know, because, you know, their team was obviously way better than ours. And, you know,
Right.
you know, they were getting away with some advantages, we'll say, you know, and we weren't. And I was like, really? You know, hey, you know, they don't need any extra help. You know, they're doing well enough. But they didn't take too kind to that. But it was all good. You know, like the kids did a good job, and like I said here, you know, happy for AJ. You know, he completed his first season in academy, and you know, had some growths. I have some concerns, but those are shows for another day here. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Kaylor coming on from Hammering Down podcast here. We'll be on next week here. Probably same time, hopefully with a lot better stuff to discuss. Hopefully ESPN Plus will stay up to where we can watch the replay and not shut down. And I'm interested to see what San Antonio FC has up their sleeve. They're kind of building this up, and hopefully it's not a what was it, a New Mexico United that they were going to break the internet, and they announced somebody that's already been in USL. So
hopefully it's like a free
Yikes.
taco at Taco Bell or something.
I just hope we get healthy. That's the main thing.
Yes.
We just got to get healthy.
We got to get healthy.
And to end it, sincerest condolences to the Martinez family.
Yes.
We're thinking about you.
And what's life without goals? And I hope everybody has a great week.